Most agency owners fail because they're too afraid to spend time and money on the things that actually matter. My name's Marcos, and I run The Birdhouse, a Twitter and LinkedIn content agency that's generated over 10 billion views and $10 million for our clients. Today I want to share the most important lessons that I've learned along the way, because I feel like when I was coming up, there wasn't really a lot of unique information out there for agency owners or even freelancers. It kind of just came off as a lot of get more clients, get your client results, stuff like that, but there was none of the intangible stuff that I've learned along the way that I think is really important to know. And in this video, I'm going to show you why turning down clients regularly has actually brought us in more money, how being living proof of your brand attracts the right team members and clients like a magnet, and the simple system that has clients referring us other clients without us even asking. So if you're running a small agency or you're just a business owner in general, these principles will help you scale through all levels and hopefully allow you to grow your business for the long term. Now, this first point is probably one of the most overlooked but more important parts of running a successful agency at scale. And back when I started The Birdhouse, I was the one doing everything. I was doing sales, I was doing operations, I was doing fulfillment, I was doing literally everything under the sun. And I remember it took so much time and effort. I used to wake up in my Brooklyn studio apartment. I would brew a cup of coffee, and I'd basically work for 6 hours in the morning and then go to the gym, and then I'd come home and do 6 hours at night. And I'd split my morning up for fulfillment and writing for clients, and then the afternoons was sales calls and doing outbound DMs and doing all of the other stuff. And I remember I got up to about like 10 to 15K a month before I had to make my first hire because I got to a point where I just wasn't going to have a sustainable schedule. And back in 2022 is when I hired our first team member. She was at the time an executive assistant. She's now our ops manager. And then January 2023, we hired our first writer. And then we had our second writer in March of 2023, and so on and so forth, and have built the agency up now to a pretty good sized team. So this first point that I'm going to share is always take care of your team. And what I mean by taking care of your team is just always making them feel like they have a long-term vision for the company. It's making sure that their basic needs are met, make sure they're paid well, make sure that they actually feel that their goals are being heard. Like a quick tip I do every single year and every single quarter is I try to ask everyone what their goals are, if we're on speed for their goals, if we're on pace for their goals, and just always making sure that they are growing personally, financially, spiritually, like just making sure that they are always hitting their goals. Because when people are hitting their goals and they feel that they're growing, they'll want to work hard for your company, they'll want to stay there, and they'll want to continue to grow with you. Now, the second one is one that is really underrated because no one really talks about the kind of intangible ROI of this investment. So I remember when I went to my first few networking events around the United States, I started meeting some people and just kind of planting seeds, building relationships, nothing salesy. And I remember it manifesting into a client like a year later. And that's when I started to realize that every time I went to a business event, it started turning into connections that led to either referrals or led to actual direct clients and so on and so forth, right? I could take pictures, I would have new followers, mutual followers that I was gaining on my profiles, so I was building my authority. So number two is unapologetically reinvest in networking. And that means joining masterminds, that means flying out to events, that means flying out to meet your clients, so on and so forth, right? Maybe it's golfing with your clients, it could be anything. Unapologetically reinvesting in networking has been a huge driver of success for us, because it allows you kind of be the guy in your industry. And we'll get to that one later as well. This is just one that is one of those things where you're not going to get a tangible ROI right away. But I found that every single time I join some sort of coaching program or mastermind or networking event, I just always get some sort of client from it or some sort of referral. And that leads me to number three, which is, and on the topic of unapologetically reinvesting, one thing you probably know about me, if you follow me or even if you just clicked on this video, is I'm always representing the Birdhouse brand. I have the hat, I have the custom jackets we just came out with. So this one is unapologetically be reinvesting into the brand. Now, we do tons and tons of brand stuff for the agency, and I think something that we've kind of pioneered is kind of building an agency brand. And that means building your agency around your name, but also building your colors, building your mind share, and what that looks like practically, right? For us, right? Everyone has a Birdhouse hat when they join. We just did these sick custom jackets. We actually just got them in. They have like sick patches. All of the team members on the founding team are going to get these jackets, and we're going to be able to customize them together. We have Birdhouse screensavers. If you go to my website or our newsletter website, which is going to be in the description, you'll see we have this kind of like vintage cartoon feel. You'll see all of our newsletter covers have this like vintage cartoon vibe as well. And one of the things that I've always done is just try to reinvest into the brand. I have a custom credit card that has like the blue eyes white dragon. If you go behind my desk setup, I have the Birdhouse Arsenal jersey that my team got me for Christmas. I've got Pokemon cards that are all bird type Pokemon, and I'm not obsessed with birds, but the whole point of it is just continuing to build that brand and building this thing around the agency that people see, and it's just like, wow, that is like a cool company that I want to work for. So this one can do a lot of things, right? Not only can it attract the right talent to get people that will actually want to work for the vision and work for the grander company, but it'll also look at your clients, and your clients are going to look at you and be like, wow, this is a real company, this is a real brand, that's sick, I want to be a part of that. And it helps your retention, it helps client acquisition, it helps your authority, it helps hiring. It's one of those things that I can't overstate enough. It's like the most important thing, if you take anything from this video, is to build the brand around your agency. Which leads me to number 4, which is living your brand. And what I mean by that is just like always having it in your mind to be marketing your company. Now that might mean actually wearing your hat, that might mean actually wearing the jacket, but it's more than just a hat or a jacket, right? You actually have to always be having it in your mind. So another example of things we do is in our Slack, we have all of these sick like bird Slack emojis that our clients have come to love because we react on every cool message with these like bird Slack emojis. I told you guys about the Pokemon card thing, but I'm always posting that on my Instagram stories. I'm usually using like bird GIFs in our Slack or on Twitter. Like I'll use like Donald Duck or Daffy Duck in our content because it's just kind of living the brand. It's gotten to a point where like if I see a bird like out in the open, I'll be like, that's a paid actor. Like that bird is part of the birdhouse, and I'll just like post that on my story. So this goes with number 3. And I don't know if this is going to land with you, but living your brand is one of those things that's going to help you build your brand. Number 5, which is honestly, number 5 comes from number 3 and 4. It's being the guy in your industry. So if you've been following me for a while, I'm kind of known as like the Twitter guy these days, especially in my inner circles, like in the masterminds that I'm in. I'm the guy that gets tagged in the Telegram chats, in the Slack channels, like, oh, this is the guy you want to talk to about Twitter. This is the guy you want to talk to about LinkedIn. I'm considered that guy, right? And what that means is that whenever somebody asks their colleague or their companion, they ask like, hey, who do you know that can help me with my Twitter? Who do you know that kind of knows a thing or two about LinkedIn? Who's the expert in this? And I'm at the top of their mind. And the reason I'm at the top of their mind is because I'm always talking about LinkedIn and Twitter, but I'm also branding the birdhouse around this. And now people just associate the birdhouse and they associate Twitter and they associate LinkedIn as one entity. So now when someone asks them about it, they're like, the first person that comes to mind is me. And I have a few competitors, of course, but my point is most of the reason we get referrals is because we are the guy for Twitter or the guy for LinkedIn. So if you have a cold email agency, if you have an SEO agency, you want to be that guy, the guy for SEO. You want to be the guy for SEO for D2C, the guy that does cold email for info businesses, or the guy who does webinars for plumbers, right? You want to be the guy for something because when you're the guy, you are going to get all of those referrals. So changing gears a little bit, and I mentioned this at the beginning, that we actually refer out more people than we sign. And what I mean by that is we get dozens and dozens of leads every single month of people who want to work with us, but we only sign like 1 or 2 clients here and there. And the reason for that is because most people just aren't a good fit for our agency. I consider us a growth partnership agency or a boutique agency. And what that means is that we only have a very, very limited capacity for the clients we work with. And what that means is that I'm very picky about who we work with because I want to maintain our reputation. I want to continue to get very consistent results and continue to get really good case studies. So the last thing I want to do is sign someone or just sign anybody that has a pulse or anybody that has a credit card, bring them into our agency and then get a bad review or just have a bad name out there and they just kind of churn real quick. So what we do is I actually just know other people that have similar agencies or people that are in different spaces, and I'm always referring them out business. I'm sure some of them might be watching this video and they're like nodding their head because like they're like, yeah, I've gotten a referral from Marcos or the Birdhouse before. And the reason we do that, like I said, is because not everyone's going to be a good fit. And that brings me to the next point, which is consult, don't sell. So when you get on a call with someone or you get on a sales call or they just you get a DM, you get an email, ask them what their problems are, see what their industry is, what's their revenue level, etc. And if they don't fit your ICP, your ideal client profile, then you can refer them out to an agency that is closer to their avatar, right? Someone that specializes in getting their problem solved. That way they have the best chance of success for their problem. And then worst case scenario, you make a friend in the industry from the person that gets your referral, and the person that you referred actually respects you because you're not just trying to take their money. So consulting and not selling has been a huge one for us. I don't like to do any pressure sales or anything like that. And I know it's kind of a privileged thing to say, right? Because I already have the agency, but I've always done this. I've always been a very no pressure seller, just kind of giving people the consulting, giving them the best answer to their problem, the best solution that I feel for their problem. And then, if it's a good fit, of course I'll sign them. But if not, I refer them out. Or worst case scenario, I'll just say, hey, it's not a good fit. I don't even know anyone that can help you, but maybe this is where I would start. go check this guy out, go on this YouTube, etc. Right? So consult, don't sell is a very important point. And last but not least, this is kind of an overarching one, but it's do the unscalable things. And what that means is having a white glove service for your agency, especially I'd say if you're under 10 million, which I am. If you're under 10 million in revenue, having a white glove unscalable service is, in my opinion, the best thing you can do. So what does that actually mean? So for us, that can mean always having a guy for something or always having a resource for your clients, even if it's not something you specialize in. So a practical example is clients always asking like, hey, I want to launch a webinar. I need to build a CRM. I need to expand out to Instagram or YouTube. And I always have a guy to refer them to, or I always have SOPs for them or trainings for them, etc. Right, from all the years of accumulating resources along these lines. So I always have stuff for them. Another one is I still do all of the onboarding calls and profile setup for our clients. So when we get a new client, I'll actually go in, do the onboarding call with them, get logged into their profile, redo it, set the brand direction, build their header, build their bio, and kind of build that foundation for their account. And the reason I still do that, one, it kind of keeps my muscles warm. And allows me to kind of stay in the game a little bit. But two, again, it's an unscalable thing. We're a boutique agency. We're not taking hundreds of clients, so it's not something that I need to outsource right now. And our clients really appreciate it because I can get them a quick win. They feel that I'm very involved. I'm not just the sales guy or the founder, etc. And that's just another thing that I've noticed that clients really, really like. For example, when I send them like a super valuable SOP, they're like, I feel like they just bought a course or got free consulting for the price of our service. So the unscalable things has always proved to be something that's ROI positive for me and my business, and it's something that I recommend you always do. So at fear of this video being too long, I'm sure I could think of another 7 to 10 tips and tricks, but I'll save that for another video. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you got anything good out of this, please let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want to see more like this, and I appreciate you. Cheers.